All right, we're back with another episode of the Sad Powers podcast. Yeah, podcast. Today we got Swish Styles, everybody. Woo! What's going on, buddy?
Oh, same old, same old. New music, new day. Quarantine life.
New music. What do you got going on right now with that?
Well, we dropped the Be Me music video back the end of April, and then we literally just dropped Mr. Fuck Niagara on all platforms. Yesterday, man. My brain's so cooked. With Ezza of True Gang.
Sick, that's dope.
Thank you. Yeah, and then I got another freestyle potentially with a video that'll be dropping in the next few days.
That's fucking awesome, man. So even though with all this quarantine bullshit, you're still working hard with the music shit. It's good to hear.
You tell me. I'm in the studio right now, man.
That's sick, man.
It's usually like wait till my daughter goes to sleep and then get in here with a bottle and just go to work if I don't have 50 other things to stress about and deal with, you know?
Mm-hmm. Man, what can people follow you on? Drop all that shit. I'll link it all in the description as well, but just drop everything.
Oh, amazing. Well, for all my merch, my newest music, all the up-to-date stuff, you can find me at www.swishstyles.com. Please subscribe. For YouTube, Swish Styles, I have 2 pages. One is free promo stuff. The other is music videos and what is there to make me money. Again, please subscribe. All social media platforms at Swish Styles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then like social media platforms, or not social media, streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all that, Swish Styles.
Word, awesome, man. And before like all this fucking bullshit was going on, you were like running shows like crazy, man. You like put on some of like the best hip hop shows, and like you got like the biggest names for the area that I've seen at least.
I've tried my best to. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And like you guys you had a show set up with Ritz, right? That should have happened like a couple days ago or something. Am I right with that? So
through the years, I've made some really good connections and friends. One of them is Robbie G. His company, R Evolution Media. They were actually the ones bringing Ritz bringing Ritz to living in the Ritz. You know, they were the one bringing Ritz to the warehouse in St. Catharines. But I was being part of it. He actually hit me up prior to doing any announcement, prior to even getting the promotion and stuff like going and all that. Basically saying, hey, hit up B-Packs, I want them, and then find me 2 more artists.
That's awesome, man. Sick. And fuck, you've like put on some other big names too, like Mayday, right? Like was that you put on that Mayday show? Yeah.
Mayday. That was at Hard Rock Cafe in Niagara Falls. That was one of my favorite venues to work with. It's a shame they changed management.
Mm-hmm. So, like, how do you like go about like booking these people?
Well, it's a really funny thing, actually. The connection kind of stumbled in my lap in an awful kind of way. When I did the Mayday show, the promoter who had actually brought that show that I was working with heavily, at which point I will say there is no qualms with him. I have a lot of respect for him. Something happened. I'm not even going to go into detail, but basically the show kind of got cooked. And I got left 2 hours before the show, basically told by the booking agent, if you pull 1,000 out of your ass, hand it to them right now. We'll just do the show anyway, and we'll figure this out and make it work. So me being me, the artists are already set up. You know, people have already started buying tickets. Okay, we've got to make this show work. And I managed to pull away. Now, truth be told, while I did pull money out of my ass, there were 3 artists. Your boy Dubs was one of them. Wes Born Trouble. He used to do a lot of stuff with Trilateral Entertainment in Niagara. But anyways, a few artists did step in, pitch in, and help me, and we made it work. Awesome. When all was said and done, the booking agent that was booking that whole tour reached out to me. We ended up shooting the shit, figuring things out, and then we ended up just staying in touch. And he hits me up every now and then with a show. I don't like to do shows too much anymore, but it's just because I find Niagara is really hit and miss. And the numbers just don't work as well as they can. Now, with Robbie G, Robbie G's team, because they're Canada-wide, the connections, the marketing, the stuff they have, everything works. So I just do my best to try and help to make it a sold-out show. We had Mad Child in the beginning of the year. It was a great show, sold-out show. We had Obi Trice and Swifty McVeigh around the same time last year. Again, almost sold out. It was a great show. So yeah, he hits me up. I'll hit him up. We see what's coming around. Actually, before this COVID situation started, he hit me up to do what's her name? She was runner-up for the Hustle and Flow with Cardi B on Netflix. What's the show I'm thinking of?
I think that might be the show. I don't know, but yeah, I've never seen it. Yeah.
Hustle and Flow. I can't think of her name. Amazingly talented artist, and they were bringing her across to her. So that was a show I was potentially looking into. I was actually considering bringing it into a venue in Hamilton because Niagara really struggles to do shows of over a couple hundred, and the venues that can fit more than 200 that go towards 300 or go towards 500 are just absolute nonsense in Niagara when it comes to like working with budget. I can go out to Hamilton, I can go up to Toronto, I can get myself a 300 to 500 person venue, and it costs me maybe $1,000. In Niagara, if I want the Merriton Center, they want 5 digits minimal. Same with the Performing Arts Center. We looked into that for a smaller thing of like 240 people because they have contractual obligations where you have to push tickets through their venue. You have to hire aisle walkers and security and all this. It was going to cost us like $4,000 just to rent the venue. And the problem is when you're a promoter, you're trying to make it as affordable as possible for people to come see the artist. And the more costs you start tacking on, the higher the price the ticket goes, and before long you're just burning yourself out before you even get started. But to answer your question, yeah, I actually work and know one of the biggest international booking agencies in Canada from out west.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I'm pretty sure I went to that Obi Trice show. It must have been yours. It was at the warehouse, right?
Yep.
I didn't even know you put on that show. It's awesome, man.
So that again wasn't me. I did help promote it, but that actually was Robbie G and our evolution.
Right. But that's sick that you were like a part of that and everything. That was a crazy show, man. Like Obi Trice literally poured Hennessy into my mouth. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
It was very cool getting to meet Swifty McVeigh. I mean, I was a very big fan of Obi Trice. I was a little upset that he didn't do more from Cheers and Second Rounds on Me. But getting to meet Swifty was a big deal because I think D12 made a bigger impact with me in hip hop than a lot of Eminem did by himself. I know that's kind of crazy to say, and a lot of people are like huge Eminem fans, but Devil's Night was one of the first hip hop albums I ever purchased.
Yeah, D12 was like, I love them too. It was crazy, man. It's weird how like shit's so different now, like with the music industry. I wonder like what it's gonna be like in another like 10, 20 years.
It'll be interesting, man. It's a lot of evolution and adaptation to what is now. It's weird because like, you know, when it was record labels and it was record sales and there were record stores, everything was consistent. You knew where to go. Whereas like every couple of years, there's a new platform. Right now, it's TikTok. You know what I mean? A couple years ago, it was Instagram. Before that, it was Twitter. Before that, it was Facebook. All these platforms are still around. They're being utilized, but there's like different tricks to get each one. And one person's using one not using the other. So it's big. The other thing too is it's a lot harder to be an artist because, you know, like when rock was huge and when hip hop was first coming in, it was nothing to go, okay, you want us to perform $300. Well, now there's this whole pay to play ideal. And I want to point out something about pay to play. Pay to play is me telling you, oh, you want on this show? Cool, it's this much. Sell tickets if you want, I want this much. You're really paying to play, you're not making money.
Yeah, which is crazy, yeah. Good.
Absolutely. Me as a promoter, I want to see who can push numbers. So I'm handing you tickets. There's no cost. I'm not giving you a requirement. Here's tickets, sell them. I want half back. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to make money and eat because I don't know if the show is going to flop or not. So I can't afford to just keep adding costs to my show.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the big thing now. Like you go to Toronto, these big shows with these big artists, you could look at 5 digits just to get on. You won't make that back with tickets. And with streamings, people don't listen to CDs anymore. Actually, it's funny though, because I have been realizing lately still a lot of people would purchase USB sticks for music. So that's something I might actually be getting into as an artist. But streams don't pay. Streams, like you got to do like 20 million streams just to get like a 5-digit return. You know what I mean? Like it's awful for a time to be an artist in terms of making money.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like even like with bands like performing at bars, like that used to be like a decent gig, and now it's like you never see that anymore.
No, it's a whole different ball game than it was 10, 15 years ago. It is the wild, wild west. I was actually saying that to Ezra because it's always going to be a competitive industry. It's music. You're always trying to prove the best. You're always trying to be the best. But now that it's really more of a gimmick than what is actual talent, it's so much more of a competition that it gets to a point where you really look at things and go, am I doing this for me or am I doing this just to compete? And if you're doing it just to compete, don't. You're going to burn yourself out and it's just going to break you down. If you're doing it for you, well then I hope if you're an amazing artist, somebody notices you.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes all it does is it takes that one little catchy part just to get on TikTok or whatever, just for something to blow up. It's like so weird, man. It's like I fucking
Yeah.
hate it in a way because it's like, it's like I don't know. I need to like, or like we all do need to like figure out like what the trick is, like what the algorithm is doing or whatever, just to try to get our shit out there. Like, what do you think like the best way to advertise your music is, especially hip hop?
So this is a weird thing because me and my team have really been studying marketing lately. TikTok will actually interview you. They don't want a lot of spam advertisement on their platform, so I don't even know if you can advertise your music on TikTok yet without being like under a major label. Um, Facebook is pretty good, but in the last year they changed their policy and it's basically you've got to spend like 5-6 times the money to get the same results as you would have 2-3 years ago. Instagram does pretty decently in terms of advertisement. My best suggestion is search and work all around and come up with a decent budget because realistically, if you can't spend $500 on your advertising, it's not worth the marketing. You're not going to get the numbers needed to even, don't even worry about a return because it's all about growth and building a fan base to get the return off of merchandise and different stuff like that. If you don't put up a big enough number, they try and chop you right down. YouTube is awful. I remember when you could do something pretty decent with a couple $100 on YouTube, and now like you're barely getting $1 per play. I mean, I know that's probably exaggerated a little, and you could probably do better if you really understand the Google Analytics and all that, but it's pretty awful outside of using some scam stream site or faking your numbers. If you want actual advertisement, you want to actually market and build an audience, like you spend $1,000 on Google on YouTube, and you'd be lucky if you see like maybe 2,000-3,000 views.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I think is super tough with YouTube is getting to the point where you are monetized. Because say like you're on somebody's channel, like mine, for example, and you let the video play to the end, and then it auto plays the next video. It's not going to be one of my videos. It's not going to be one of your videos. It's going to be some big YouTuber that has an ad play because they want you to watch those ads. So they keep trying to redirect people to the channels that are monetized, right? So it's like, it's really tough to get like over that hump.
And it's not even that. Well, I remember when monetization first came in and it was just options. You could do different stuff. I mean, you know, you made a fraction of a cent at certain points, but it was still there. Whereas now, like 1,000+ subscribers, you got to jump through hoops just to be able to get that monetization.
Yeah, that's my point, right? Is like, yeah, you need 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. That's the whole reason I started this podcast, was to try to get like more watch time.
Absolutely. It just, I don't know. To answer your question, like, what are the best ways to market? I don't think at this point right now there is a surefire way to market, because if you have any type of marketing, you've searched up any marketing, then Facebook's probably pinged you with marketing ads from different companies. And a lot of these people think they're doing right. I don't necessarily think they're scamming, but they all have different opinions. You can try this, you can try that, and then one's saying, no, that doesn't work, try this. I really, really think it comes down to, first of all, understanding analytics and making sure that you're utilizing like your keywords and your age group, and understanding who your audience is, because understanding who your audience is, you're getting way more bang for your buck in terms of marketing. I think it really comes down to the person, what you're marketing, your budget, and how much you understand. TikTok is like the way to get viral now. TikTok is the way to get noticed. TikTok scares the crap out of me because they're in a $5 billion lawsuit for taking people's privacy and stealing stuff from stealing information or taking information from kids.
Yeah, I know. How fucked is that, dude?
It's also, if you look it up, a chunk of it is owned by the Chinese government. Figure that one out. So it just, I don't know. It's really in the eye of the beholder. You can do one and fail on another. You can. There's somebody out there who could make themselves big do on Facebook tomorrow when Facebook seems outdated at this point for what it is. It's really just a matter of finding your lane and running with it.
Right, man. That's great advice, actually, because like everyone's path is different, right? It's like one person's way that they get big or whatever won't necessarily work for somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, so like what are your plans for like doing shit like that, like for the future in music and in general?
Right now, like we're still marketing Beanie. Beanie is actually doing very well out in Russia and Saudi Arabia. We've been utilizing a lot of Facebook and Insta because right now that's where we're finding we're getting our best buck. We're just looking into Twitter ads because we're wondering if that could be a different and better platform, because a lot of music, unless you have a visual with Facebook or Instagram, it really doesn't do anything. And a pro tip, don't post full music videos anymore. That was great a couple years ago on Facebook. That would get you a lot. But you do a lot better with your analytics and building and getting your bucks worth if you do 30-second videos now. That being said, like we're basically, we're trying to find different platforms. We're continuously trying new ideas, new techniques, seeing what works. If it works, we'll try and tweak it, see if that works. But that's the thing you should understand is by the time all is said and done in this next year, I'll probably spend $20,000 to $30,000.
Like just on advertising?
Just on, I mean, okay, that's probably inflated. Realistically, like, because I'm trying to budget it down to 5 or 10K, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But if I find stuff that works, I know it's going to work. I know I can run with it. I'm going to spend more. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And just so everybody's aware, like, I know a lot of people, the people that are going to watch this are probably going to know who Mercules is, how Mercules came up. Well, let me tell you, I've seen the analytics on Mercules' Facebook pages. He doesn't have to spend a lot now, but to get where he was, I would say he spent probably close to a mid-sized 6 digits on marketing in the last 3 years, if not 7 digits. He had investors, he had to have, but this is how your favorite artist is getting by. Don't kid yourself. It's not a matter of like blowing up. I mean, you might get lucky with the TikTok. It happens. Luck of the draw, but it's the lottery. The marketing is the real key. Brand advertising, consistency. Sadly, music in today's day and age, because another factor is the fact that there's such a short attention span. So you have to keep in their face. You have to keep consistent. You have to keep reminding them who you are. And the only way to do that is advertisement, especially when you use Facebook or Instagram and they let you, maybe 10% of your followers will get to see each post. It's crumpled right down. I have almost 3,000 people on my Facebook. When I post something, maybe 100 of those get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Facebook works now. So
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just advertise, and budget, and understand budgeting. Make sure you stick to your budget and do your best to understand that in the music industry, if you want to be up there with your favorites, like if you want to be like Self-Titled and Apathy or like Mad Child, underground is good. Underground will make people. It won't pay the bills very well. It's not that hard to be famous and not have money. It's not. If you want to play with the big boys, the American networks and what that music industry is, you have to be willing to spend the money.
Yeah, it was interesting what you said about Mercules. Like, I think also what helped him was when he was like covering like the popular songs, and then he was
Well,
like,
it's funny you say that. Like, the Old Town Road was probably one of his biggest hits. That and Shape of You with what's his name there from the UK. But I can tell you right now, they still spent a crap load of money on marketing that.
For sure. Yeah, you gotta like. It's so weird, man. Like now, like back in the day, YouTube and stuff. I wish like we were that age that we could have had YouTube channels when we were kids, and
Oh,
like.
buddy, if I knew what I know now, I'd already be famous. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It's like I kick myself so hard for it, you know. Because like back then, it's like I remember like I did post like a couple of videos or whatever, and I was getting like on my cousin's channel, like we made videos together, and we weren't even trying, and we were getting like hundreds, thousands of views sometimes, and we just did like a couple, and that was like because back then it was just such a different ball game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh man, could you imagine? Like, well, the thing is too is like you learn, you keep growing. Like, do you know what I could have did like 10 years? No, I won't say 10 years ago. Like even 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 2012, 2013, just at that age, what I could have done with like $1,000 or $2,000 and understanding what I know now about YouTube and Facebook marketing. That's the one thing that sucks is technology moves so fast with social media that by the time you finally figure out how to use it, unless you're spending money to learn all this stuff or you're like some marketing strategist on the inside, by the time you figure it out, it's already too late. There's something else, and what you know now doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, man. If you had your own podcast, what do you think it would be about?
That's a good question, man. Honestly, you know what? If I had my own podcast, and this is funny because I don't smoke a lot of weed anymore. I used to be a chronic. I think one of the first things I would get into is like marijuana, but not like the whole like pro marijuana or like health marijuana. I would love to get down to the nitty gritty of like strains and this strain from this grower and this and that kind of stuff. Get into the technicalities. Like you see a lot of people talking about, oh, I'm smoking that OG Kush or this and that. But like, what about all the fruitful stuff? What about all the like crazy colors stuff? You know what I mean? Like you never really see anybody showing that off. That would be the biggest thing I'd love to do is like just try a little bit, put it on the camera, show it, explain where it comes from, how you can get it, and educate people more.
That's a sick idea, actually, man.
Don't bite that. I want money to do that. That is a good idea. That's Swish Styles for you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, like, you know, the thing is I would want to do something that's unique that's not being done. That's kind of why I just gave that example. People are reviewing music. People are reviewing video games or food or, I mean, maybe we could do a podcast about how the bounce of Miley Cyrus's ass compared to like, you know what I mean? Like something stupid or funny, but like I would definitely want to do something outside of the box, something different.
Yeah, I
something
like that. Yeah.
But something that allows me to help the world, I guess you would say, educate.
Fuck yeah, man. What do you think about Joe Rogan moving to Spotify? Do you care at all?
I think that's a wicked thing for multiple reasons. Joe Rogan is entertaining. We know who Joe Rogan is. Joe Rogan doing that and making 100 million is a very big thing, because to make 100 million from Spotify is huge in itself. And that just opened the door to other opportunities, regardless of what genre you're in or what industry you're working in. There's going to be ability to do stuff. And don't ever kid yourself. Like somebody like Drake. Drake is on top right now. Drake isn't going to be on top forever. That's just the truth of the music industry. I know it used to be like, if it run for 5 years the second you get that first oomph, because after 5 years it's going to die down anyways. And Drake has done well to keep up with like the legends like Jay-Z and I can't even say Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne's an amazing goat as a lyricist, despite what anybody wants to tell me. I don't care what you say. His punchlines are bar none in the game.
Yeah, they're gnarly for sure. I agree.
He's got weird ones too, but he's dropped some really good ones. Wow, I totally just brain farted. Been a long day, bro. Sorry.
You're talking about like Drake and how like he was like, or he is on top right now. But
so for like artists, well, where could Drake go? Well, Drake's already got connections with Spotify and Apple Music. What's that? I can go get a $50 million contract for the next 5 years to go do a podcast. Drake could be the next 106 in Park in that aspect, or Much Music, if you will. It opens the door to a lot of opportunity for people to make more money, because Spotlist is greedy with their money.
And I think it's good because like YouTube needs a competitor, right? So if like Spotify starts like streaming video like YouTube is, I don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but
it's hard to say. That's a very good possibility. And there and again, like, wouldn't it be nice, instead of having to pay to market your music video, if you could like submit it to Spotify and Spotify plays it, and all of a sudden like overnight you make like 10K, 20K as an independent artist?
yeah, that would be sick. That'd be amazing.
You know what I mean?
We should gotta get in on that Spotify shit now before it becomes like oversaturated with people.
That's it.
This is out there to everybody. Man, thanks for doing this. I gotta take off, but I really appreciate the chat. It was a quick, good thing about like music and shit, which I think I'm gonna like try doing this in my titles now, is like try to keep the conversation less random and more about one topic, and then I can like put that in the title, right? So people search that up. So it's like we'll be talking, I don't know, like I'll always put like what episode it is and who it's with, but then I can be like talking about like ghosts or whatever if I do that one episode. So like this one I might just put music or something. I don't know. I'm gonna try some different stuff and experiment with trying to push this podcast.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Is there anything you wanted to say to close it out, buddy?
Yeah. You know what? For everybody watching out there, wherever you are, Niagara, Toronto, Canada, the United States, thank you for supporting local. Thank you for giving us a purpose, depending on what our goals are in this life. Thank you for supporting. And just like myself and any other artist that Sab throws on his podcast, please find us. Support us. I have t-shirts at my store. This is how I make my money as an artist. I have music on Spotify, Tidal, all that. please listen, download, stream my music. This is how I make money as an artist. And thank you for supporting and showing love.
Fuck yeah, man. Well said. Thank you for doing this. Love you, bro. Peace out.
Take care, Sab.